Welcome everyone. I'm Scott Deutsch from Norfolk Southern Railroad. I'm the Northern Regional Manager of Hazardous Materials. Today we will go over locomotive fires. It's one of the training programs in our Operation Awareness and Response program. Okay everyone, we're going to go over the location of where fuel fires happen on a locomotive. Centrally located in the center of the locomotive, in line with the stack, in line with the fuel tank, is where most fuel fires are going to occur. If we go to the front of the cab of the locomotive, that's going to be electrical fires. If we go to the rear of the train, the locomotive, that's going to be electrical fires. We do not want to spray water on electrical fires. This is a very large diesel generator, is what it is. It generates power that turns the steel wheels, okay? So what we want to make sure we do is watch where we apply water.
Locomotive sumps located under the diesel engine can also hold a couple hundred gallons of fuel or oil. During firefighting operations, while spraying too much water on the locomotive, you could cause the sump to overflow and spread fuel and oil on the ground, causing a running fire.
You can use water and foam if you have to. We prefer that you use dry chemical extinguishers. There's dry chemical extinguishers located on each side of the locomotive and holders inside. There's also a dry chemical extinguisher inside the cab. What we have here is your very large fuel tank. This is a 4-axle locomotive. With a 4-axle, you have up to around 3,000 gallons max of fuel. Other different designs, 6-axle locomotives that are up there, you can have up to 7,000 gallons of fuel. To give you an idea of how much fuel is on a locomotive. Several different places to see the gauge if you would happen to have a leak besides just fighting a fire with the locomotive. You have a sight glass here, and you also have an electronic gauge that will tell you the amount inside the locomotive. One of the most important things when fighting a fuel fire on this locomotive is to shut the fuel off. Once you shut the fuel off, you'll be able to have a much smaller fire to deal with. You'll no longer have a pressure fire that you see coming out of the different panels or out the stack. Press this button in, hold it in until the locomotive shuts down. This fuel shut-off button is also located on the other side of the locomotive. So if you have most of your fire on this side, you can send another firefighter to the other side. Be aware you're in the rail yard. Be aware that the other tracks are live, and then press the button on the other side. If you can't get to either location, you can go inside the cab, and there's one on the back wall inside the cab to shut the fuel down also. They're all marked like this with fuel shut off, and they're usually painted red, and they have a box around them. As you can see, this platform is not very wide for attacking the fire inside the engine compartment on this locomotive. So we suggest that you fight the fire from the ground level if at all possible. You can reach up with a pike pull to the top latch, lift that latch up, grab the bottom latch, pull it down. You'll need to open several of these because they're accordion style doors. So once you get those open, you can attack the fire from here. If you feel comfortable walking up on the platform to attack the fire, you can do that, but you're gonna have to be very careful and just make sure that you did shut down the locomotive before you went up there so you do not have a pressure fire when you open those doors. With a 4-axle locomotive, you can have a max fuel around 3,000 gallons. If you had a 6-axle locomotive, you can have anywhere from 6,000 to 7,000 gallons of diesel fuel. Other fluids to be concerned with, the locomotives also have around 500 gallons of lube oil, 450 gallons of coolant. That coolant has an inhibitor in for rust protection that's pink, so don't confuse it with the fuel, the diesel fuel. It could just be the water with the inhibitor in. And we have approximately 50 gallons of acid in the batteries located in the front in different locations on the locomotive.